as they heard arguments about whether federal discrimination laws protect gay and transgender workers as well. Now, the conservative argument, apparently, is that the Civil Rights Act of 1964 wasn't talking about protecting people based on sexual orientation, so it's up to Congress to pass a new law. It is 2019. I mean, one would think that as we found discrimination, we would say, under this umbrella, you're not allowed to discriminate against people.
Right. Yeah.
It should, I mean, you know, we've made very specific laws about hate crimes, you know, and it's very spelled out in there. So I don't understand why the Civil Rights Law of 1964, which was put in place because people needed a law to say, don't do this. Right. It's not okay. We're telling you as a nation to quit hanging people.
Well, 93% in the Gallup poll of Americans say that they're for equal rights in the workplace, just as you described. So
Who are the other 7?
I don't know, whatever. Well,
no, I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm genuinely curious.
Homophobes, people who are, you know, maybe religiously against it. I don't know. But it would be tragic now that we have gay marriage, so you can get married, but you can't work.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense,
but
that has to be changed.
50% of Americans already thought that federal law protected sexual orientation.
I did, myself included.
Yeah, most people, 50% think it, but federal law has never protected sexual orientation.
Except as a hate crime.
Except as a hate crime, but not under Title VII. 21 states have enacted laws to protect work discrimination against people.
By the way,
one
of them is not Arizona, and my senator is bisexual.
Yeah.
So Kristen Sinema,
right. Isn't that something?
Arizona, we have the first bisexual senator ever in our state. It's been the 50th anniversary since Stonewall. World Pride this year, I think, was such a big celebration for so many people because of the historic, it's always historic, but particularly 50th anniversary. Right. I can't, when this topic was brought up this morning, I can't even believe this is something we're still talking about.
Yeah, you were very surprised that it's not protected in the workplace.
A lot of people are, and a lot of people are not aware that this is happening. And for me, it's a slippery slope. Either we're protecting those who need protection as we discover them, or we're not, and none of us are protected.
Yeah.
So we have to decide. This is no longer just about black people. It's about women. It's about gay people. It's about transgender folks. It's about people who identify however they identify. This is America, where you could come and be whoever you need to be. And that is the beauty of this country. This is not, and this is no knock to religious people. You also, religious people, are free to believe what you want to believe. I feel if you are in service, and you don't want to wait on black people or gay people, or, you know, people are going to say to you, then you shouldn't be in service. Maybe you have to get another kind of gig. We used to live very well together with all our different religious beliefs without this idea that somebody was pooping on somebody's religious beliefs because they believe differently. This is America. That's why they left England. They came here so they could practice whatever religion they wanted to be, whoever they wanted to be. And just because it's not in the history books doesn't mean it didn't happen or wasn't happening.
You know, Whoopi, I think what you said earlier, Ruth Bader Ginsburg sort of alluded to your point earlier, because she said in 1964, when the Civil Rights Act was passed, no one thought that they would be talking about sexual harassment under Title VII.
That's right.
And then 20 years later, sexual harassment cases were brought under Title VII. People were thinking it was really more race-based. So I really think now it makes perfect sense for sexual orientation to be covered under Title VII, because the law should be changed.
What are the arguments that say a Gorsuch might get?
I've heard the opposite argument of Whoopi's, that there's a slippery slope the other way, that then there are protections over bathrooms, and you get into all these other things that aren't written in this law.
Right.
I think that you should have a bathroom that represents everybody, that it complicates it. That's not where I stand on. This is what another argument I heard
said is. Something like that, but he said there's going to be this big societal upheaval. But what doesn't make sense to me is this type of law has been passed in 21 states and in 2 territories, Guam and Puerto Rico. I didn't see any big social upheaval anywhere else.
I'm very proud. I will say, I went to
precedent for it.
One of my best friends got married last weekend.
Way to go, Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arizona's got a way to go.
Right.